My name is Gus. That introduction from Peter was incredible. I'm going to try and live up to it, which I very much doubt, obviously, but I'll try my best. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go through some slides. I promise it won't be death by PowerPoint, mainly because I use Canva. We're gonna be covering LinkedIn. That's what we're talking about. So let me just share my screen because then we'll go straight into that. Cool. So here we go. Today's presentation is all about becoming one in a billion on LinkedIn. So let's go through.
There we go.
Oh, there you go. Now you can see. Yeah, cool. I'm sure some of you are just looking around the room. Actually, no, none of you are old enough to remember this guy. Terry Wogan used to present a program called Blankety Blank. And normally when I do big presentations and we're in the room and all that kind of stuff, and I got plenty of time, we go through a game of Blankety Blank. But I won't do that with you today because obviously everybody's on mute. It's going to be the quietest game ever. So let's go through. What do we want from LinkedIn? What are we looking for? More blank. Obviously, we want more visibility, right? We want more people to see us. We want more leads. We want to bring in more leads. And obviously, those leads, we want to turn them into clients. And ultimately, we want to make more money. Now, one of the things I said to one of my clients recently was we should use social media. And they said, oh, we love making friends and all that kind of stuff. I said, no, the goal is to make money. As crass and as blasé as that sounds, we're here to make money. Because let's be honest, if we won the Euro Millions tomorrow and we got 150 million, you're not going to wake up the next morning and think, what do I post on LinkedIn? Other than see you later. So we're here to make money. And that's what hopefully we can talk about today. So this is where LinkedIn comes from, because this is how we're going to build a network and become one in a billion. So for those who don't know me, my name is Gus Bandel. I always put my name in lights because that's, I think I'm some sort of Hollywood superstar. I am obviously not. I am, however, the UK's #1 LinkedIn trainer, according to my mum. That's what I tell people I know who can argue with mums, right? That's the main thing. And people will always say, oh, yeah, why do you say that? So well, you have to take it up with my mum. And it's great. And the reason I call myself the UK's #1 LinkedIn trainer, according to my mum, is because what it does is it attracts clients that want to work with somebody that uses silly statements like that. And it's great. I attract a crowd like me, which is exactly what we want to do with LinkedIn. So I've been in marketing for an incredibly long time. I'm old enough to remember the original TED Talk. It was most excellent. For those of you that are not old enough to know who Bill and Ted are, please ask your parents. They will tell you this is a killer joke. It's one of the best jokes you'll ever hear. So I've been around. So I started my marketing qualifications in 1996. I have worked for some of the world's largest companies. I've got loads of letters after my name, numerous kind of postgraduate qualifications. I left all that to run a pub for a little while. So I know how to use marketing to obviously get bums on seats. And then in 2017, started my own digital marketing agency called the M Guru. The M stands for marketing, for those of you who weren't in my breakout room. That's a imaginative title there, obviously. So today we're going to be talking about LinkedIn. So let's give you some boring stats. So in 2002, that's when LinkedIn started by a guy called Reid Hoffman. It was a very slow kind of progress. It took I think it was about 4 or 5 years to get to 10 million users. In the same time period, Facebook got to 350 million users. So obviously two very different platforms, two very different kind of growth trajectories. LinkedIn really changed when there was two things that really changed LinkedIn. Firstly, when Microsoft bought it in 2016, Microsoft paid $26 billion for LinkedIn. And ultimately, LinkedIn it's a business professional platform. So Microsoft wanted to tap into that market to obviously sell their products, make money, use LinkedIn as a cash cow, etc., etc. So that's when the first change happened. LinkedIn started transitioning from the place where we put our CVs and try and find jobs or employ people and all that kind of stuff to a social media channel, a place where, quite frankly, we talk to each other. And then in 2020, that's when it really changed. During the pandemic, we all realized that we can't go to the office anymore. We can't talk to anyone anymore in person. So where do we go? We still want those kind of work-related conversations. So we all headed to LinkedIn. LinkedIn added as many people in the last 4 years as they did in the 18 years before that, basically. And as of today, we have 1.1 billion people on LinkedIn. So I call LinkedIn the digital water cooler. It's the place where we go to have conversations with our friends, our associates, our partners, our stakeholders, our colleagues, our bosses, etc. It's the place where we create conversations that we would have in the workplace, that we talk with those people around us, etc. I should also say at this point, I should have said this at the beginning. I apologize that I look like I'm in the Blair Witch Project kind of thing. I put a pillowcase over my ring light, but I can still see the shadows and all that kind of. It's very, it's dark here. And as the light comes up, it'll be great. I'll look like an angel later on. But anyway, I call LinkedIn the digital water cooler, the place where we go to have conversations. But ultimately, with 1.1 billion people, we want to try and rise above the rest. See what I did there with this slide? So it's all about by standing out and becoming one in a billion. Okay. So I have a 4-stage process which I use on LinkedIn. I could talk about LinkedIn all day, every day for the next 3 weeks. I won't, because obviously we only have a certain amount of time. The recording won't stand for 3 weeks. So I'm going to give you the bits that you can use today to essentially get people to know you, like you, and trust you. So it's a 4-stage process that I use, which is optimize your profile, find ideal clients, create great content, do plenty of outbound engagement. So let's start with optimize. The most important thing on LinkedIn, in my opinion, is the headline. If you do nothing else, go and change your headline. And I have what I call the famous Gus Bandal LinkedIn headline template. I do need to find a better title for that. But basically, it's 4 steps: what, who, how, why. What do I do for a living? Who do I do it for? How do I do it? Why should you work with me? So mine is, what do I do for a living? The UK's #1 LinkedIn trainer. Who do I do it for? For business owners, teams, and executives. How do I do it? I don't need to repeat. I'm a LinkedIn trainer. It's just I do LinkedIn training, right? And then why? Why should you work with me? Because I increase your visibility and help you to attract clients. And obviously, as you can see, I've got a little joke there at the end, according to my mum, and then also a little kind of sales message of I've got a LinkedIn membership coming up very soon. Now, a little note here: if you change your headline via your mobile, you can force line breaks. So you shift and enter, you can force line breaks. So on a mobile, it looks like bullet points. So all the emojis that you see there in this sentence, they all come up as bullet points on my phone, basically. While we're here, Pete, do you want me to answer questions as we go along?
No, we'll do questions at the end, mate.
Okay, cool. Perfect. The famous Gus Bandel LinkedIn headline: what, who, how, why. So if you do nothing else, change your headline to essentially tell people what you do for a living. Please don't have headlines that say, oh, I'm the CEO at this business, or I'm the founder of this business. Nobody cares, right? Just go and tell people what you do and why they should work with you. Okay. Now, oops. The next stage should be your about section. Now, as you can see, people see the first 4 lines of your about section, and you want to entice people to click see more. You want them to read these 4 lines and see more. And I can guarantee that I could look at, say, 90% of your LinkedIn profile, and your about section will say something about you in terms of, I've got this education and I've got this experience, etc. That's all well and good, but really, once again, nobody cares. What they care about is what you're going to do for them. Hence why the first 4 lines of my about section talk to the person that I want to talk to. So this is who you are, this is what you do, this is what you're not doing well, this is where I come in. Basically, this is why you should work with me. And hopefully those first 4 lines entice people to click see more. And then after that, it's war and peace, right? You've got like 3,000, I think it's 3,000 characters to tell people exactly what you do for a living. And then it's just an extension of your headline: what, who, how, why. What do I do for a living? Who do I do it for? How do I do it? Why should you work with me? Okay. So make sure that your about section entices people to click see more because they want to learn more. If they are on your profile, reading your profile, technically they're warm leads, right? There's somebody that they want to know about you. So make sure that your about section talks to the person visiting as opposed to telling them everything you do. Okay. Now, I always talk about keywords. Your profile should be littered with keywords. Whatever you do for a living, make sure it's all over your profile. The image of Gordon Ramsay here is because the acronym I use is Chef's Hat. And the joke I always use is make sure that the space is after the S and not before. You should have keywords in your content, in your headline, in your experience section, your featured section, your skills, the hashtags that you use in your about section, and in testimonials that you receive. Make sure, so for example, on my profile, my keywords are social media, LinkedIn, marketing strategy, digital marketing, etc. My profile is littered with those keywords. And the reason for this is, LinkedIn is very much like a search engine. People will be searching for content and will be searching for people that do particular things. Related to this, there's the new services section, which is essentially, the services section has been around for many years, but LinkedIn are now essentially forcing their hand and kind of saying, we're going to make more of the services section. So now you can request services from people. So if you use the search box at the top of LinkedIn, there's a little, once you search for whoever you want to search for, accountants or copywriters or marketers or whatever it may be, there's a little button that says services. And when you click on that, it will show you everybody that offers those services. So make sure that your profile is absolutely littered with what you do for a living, what other people would be searching for. Now, getting clients. Getting clients is obviously the most important thing on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the only place where you can curate your own audience. I've put my own name on this quote because obviously this is my quote. If anybody wants to take screenshots, this is the one. Everywhere else, people, you rely on people finding you. You rely on people finding you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, wherever it may be. You're relying on people to find you. LinkedIn is the only place where you can curate your audience. You do the outreach. You head over to the search box and you find exactly who you want to search for. I want to search for pharmacists in Farnborough, or goat herders in Grimsby, or doctors in Dartmouth, whatever it may be. You use the search box to find exactly who you want to connect to. So we've optimized our profile to say exactly the right things. We've used keywords, we've used our headline and our about section to say, this is what we do for a living. Then we go and curate the perfect audience. And ultimately what you do is you create a positive echo chamber of exactly the people you want to know you, like you, and trust you. And in essence, hand over their cash. That's the most important thing. Because otherwise we're just curating an audience of lots of, you're just connecting to everybody willy-nilly, and you're just growing a network of people that aren't really interested in what you do. So think about who your ideal clients are. Think about where they are, where they hang out, what they do, where they're based, what their job titles are, etc. Go and search for them and then connect to them. 9 times out of 10, people will accept your connection request because this is how LinkedIn works. Other than the search box, the other way to find ideal clients is people that engage with your content. So if you look through your content, have a look at who likes your content, who's engaging, who's commenting, etc. When you see somebody's name next to their name, you will either see first, second, or third. So if it says first, you guys are connected. If it says second, that means you have mutual connections. If it says third, you don't know each other at all. I look through everybody that engages with my content and I look for the second. And wherever I see the second, I think we have mutual connections, but we're not connected. If you've engaged with my content, then at some point you could be an ideal client, or I might be an ideal client of yours. So you either find suppliers or you find clients. So have a look at who engages with your content. Have a look at your followers as well. So some people have their profile set up so people follow them rather than connect to them. So I have that. So what I do is I look through my followers on a regular basis and see, are there any that are worth connecting to? Anybody that's viewed my profile. So if you pay for LinkedIn, for example, if you have Premium or Sales Navigator, you can see who's viewed your profile over the last 90 days. If you don't pay for LinkedIn, you see the last 5 people that have viewed your profile. And that's fine. If you check LinkedIn every morning, you'll see the last 5 people that have looked at your profile. If people have looked at your profile and not bothered connecting, reach out to them. I send people a message, say, oh, I see you viewed my profile. I've looked at yours too, and I think we should connect. And the very worst thing that can happen is they say, no thanks. And that's okay, because there's another 1.1 billion people on LinkedIn. So I'll find somebody else. Don't worry. Don't forget your existing network. Lots of LinkedIn trainers say, oh, let's get a massive audience and let's follow loads of people and let's connect to loads of people, etc. Ultimately, what you're doing is you're ruining the chances of your content being seen. So don't forget your existing network. Go through your existing network and just think, oh, who should I be connected to? Who should I be talking to? Who should I be engaging with? And I'll talk more about that in a moment. And for those of you that have company pages, head over to your company page and look at who follows your company page, but you're not connected to. And again, when you look through your company page followers, the ones that you're not connected to will have a second next to it. You just follow them. I do. I go to my company page, look through my followers on there, and then I connect to them and say, I don't really hang out on my company page, but I do my best work on my personal profile. So let's come and hang out with me over there. Okay. Ultimately, what we want to do is create one big happy family. This is the Kardashians, by the way, for those of you who don't know them. Ultimately, we want to create one big happy family. The whole point of LinkedIn is that we create a network where we talk to each other, where we get to know each other, where we speak to each other, be friends with each other, refer each other, etc. And as you can see in the top left there, I've got the phrase trust transfer. It's all about transferring trust. Now, ultimately, if you don't buy from somebody, you want to trust them enough to be able to refer them to somebody else. And ultimately, that's the network that I have. So all the people here, all the people that want to speak to me, if you enjoy this presentation, if you think, oh, this guy's all right, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You may never give me any money, but if somebody else somewhere says, "Oh, I need some help with social media or LinkedIn, etc.," you might say, "You should speak to Gus." You're transferring that trust from you to then to me, basically. So ultimately, LinkedIn is about creating a massive referral network of people that know us, like us, and trust us. Okay. So step three, creating great content. So I always talk about the content foundations of find the pain, agitate the pain, deliver the solution, back it up with testimonials. Now, obviously, the FAST acronym stands for find, agitate, solution, testimonials. I mean, I can see it should be FADB, but let's not worry about that because that doesn't make sense. That's not a word. So that's why I use FAST. Find the pain, agitate the pain, deliver the solution, back it up. When we create content on LinkedIn, most people just deliver a solution. I'm a marketer, I'm a copywriter, I do accounts, I'm a LinkedIn trainer, I do social media, whatever it may be. They just say, this is me, this is what I do. And that's the solution. That's great. Like I say, I'm a LinkedIn trainer. You don't know if you need a LinkedIn trainer. Whereas if I find the pain and agitate the pain in terms of your LinkedIn is not doing very well. That's I found the pain. And then I agitate the pain by saying, if your LinkedIn's not doing very well, then you've got poor engagement, you're not getting clients, you're not making money, your dog's going to walk out on you, your wife hates you, and all that kind of stuff. Really agitate that pain. And then I deliver the solution by saying, you need LinkedIn training. Just so you know, I don't agitate the pain that much. Okay. It's not as bad as that. But this is when you think about your ideal clients and when you're curating the perfect audience, what would be their pain points? Why should they come to you? So anybody can say, I do this, I do that. I'm a LinkedIn trainer. That's not what people are searching for. People aren't searching for a LinkedIn trainer. They're searching for somebody to help them make money, find clients, build relationships, do better networking, etc., etc. And that's why people come to us. Think about who your ideal clients are. Think about what would be their pain points. To give you an example, when you go to Starbucks, you're not buying a coffee. Everybody, we can make coffee at home, right? We're not going to Starbucks for a coffee. They don't sell coffee. They hardly even talk about coffee. They talk about the experience, the atmosphere, the free Wi-Fi, the food that they do, the decent locations, etc., etc. Because ultimately, who in their right mind pays £6 for a coffee, right? It's just weird. However, Starbucks is full. It's one of the richest companies in the world because they're not just selling coffee. They find a pain in their ideal clients in terms of these are all the things that you need. Because the solution is just coffee. And quite frankly, if that's all you're looking at, you just think, oh, I'll just make a coffee at home, or I'll get a takeaway mug and do it, etc. So in your ideal clients, find what their issues are, agitate those issues, as in, here's your problem, here's what happens if you don't fix that problem, here's the solution that I deliver, here's some testimonials or case studies or reviews that I've had from people that I've done this work for. Okay, so find the pain, agitate the pain, deliver a solution, back it up with testimonials. The other thing I talk about is I always forget that I've got this slide. It's so weird. Even every time I look through these kind of slides, that's hilarious. Anyway, I have something called the Daniel Craig Gus Mandel Content Marketing Strategy. So something else which needs a better title, obviously. Now, this is an arbitrary figure of 70-30. So 70% of my content is Daniel Craig dancing like a loon in a Belvedere vodka advert. Other vodkas are available. If you haven't seen this advert, go check it out on YouTube. It's hilarious, etc. It's very, sorry. Still there, mate. My son's going to school. He's 7 years old. My wife's with him. Just to clarify, he's not like just to get in the car himself. That'll be next year. So Daniel Craig dancing in a vodka advert. That's 70% of my content in terms of very jovial, very personable, very attracts a crowd that where my content resonates with them or where they want to talk to me, etc., etc. 30% of my content is the sales content. It's Daniel Craig dressed as James Bond, suited and booted, ready for his assignments. Okay. So that's where I create content, which basically sells what I do. Here's what I do for a living. Here's your pain points. Here's how I agitate those pains. Here's how I deliver a solution. Here's some testimonials. This is how you work with me. This is how much it costs. This is how we sign up, etc., etc. That's 30% of my content. Whatever you do not forget to sell. You will see there are lots of people on LinkedIn that have just 100% of the Daniel Craig dancing in a Belvedere vodka advert content. All they're doing is just posting the jovial stuff. And ultimately, nobody has any idea what they do for a living. Now, for me, this is an arbitrary figure. So 70-30, it's entirely up to you which way you want to do it. 90-10, 60-40, 50-50, etc., etc. The main thing is do not do 100% one way or the other. So when we talk about personable content, it doesn't have to be too deep. It could be oh, I did some networking with Peter Moles today, or I went networking elsewhere, or I've read this business book, or I've listened to this business podcast, or I took my dog for a walk, or I made a lasagna, or whatever it may be. It's content that resonates with other people. It's content that gets people to engage with you and think this is what makes you tick. Because ultimately, if you just spend 100% of your time saying, if I spend 100% of my time saying, I'm a LinkedIn trainer, I do LinkedIn training, eventually people switch off because they're like, a million people do LinkedIn training, right? What makes Gus different? It's all the other stuff that he does. He's good friends with Peter Moles. He likes orange chocolate. He wears orange trainers, etc. He has a T-shirt that says "free hugs" on it, which obviously we can't do in person right now. But whenever you see me, you're welcome to have a hug. Obviously, now make sure that whatever figure that you use, make sure it's not 100% one way or the other. Okay. And finally, we have engage. Make sure we engage with others. Earlier, I was talking about when you find ideal clients, look in the search box, look at people who follow you, people who engage with your content, etc., etc. And don't forget your existing network. LinkedIn has this thing in the background called the relevancy score. They talked about it once and then they thought, let's not talk about this again because everybody started talking about it. Ultimately, it's about having virtual points with other people. If I take Peter as an example, if I think Peter is an ideal client, Peter at some point is going to hand over his cash to me, so I better get him to know me, like me, and trust me. I will start engaging with Peter. I will connect with Peter. I will send him a personalized connection request. I will maybe send him a DM. I'll engage with his content. I will speak to him on a regular basis. I will click the bell under his banner because when I click that bell, every time Peter posts, I get a notification. And every time I get a notification, I'll go and engage. Oh, Peter, this is a great post. I love this, etc. Or something along equally trite. But the main thing is it's about raising that score. When I look at Peter's profile, I get 1 point. When I connect with him, I get another point. When I send him a DM, I get another point. When I like his content, I get another point. When I comment on his content, I get another point, etc., etc. The more points I have with somebody, the more likely it is that they're going to see my content when I post. Don't forget your existing network, but also the new people that you're connecting with. If they are your ideal clients, go and click the bell on their profile. Make sure you raise the relevancy score with them, engage with them more often, because not only will you start seeing them more in your feed, so you can start engaging with them more, ultimately, they will start seeing your content. And the whole point of this is making sure that we stay in people's faces, that they know us and we know them and we're engaging on a regular basis. Because ultimately, the thing with LinkedIn is basically engaging with somebody until they either buy, die, or tell me to go away, I believe is the phrase, as the correct phrase. So make sure that we engage with people to raise that relevancy score. And I'm sure you've got lots of people that you're connected to that you think, oh, I haven't heard from them for a while. And the reason you haven't is because you don't engage with their content, if they don't engage with yours. Okay. Something in one of the breakout rooms I spoke to with John actually was about using LinkedIn efficiently for other people. So raising the relevancy score for others. If you're busy with work or if your business is successful or is doing well or you're happy with where it is, use LinkedIn for say 5 minutes every morning to go and engage with others. Go and help others and support others to raise the relevancy score with others. Because when you engage with other people, start seeing your face, but also people start seeing the content of those that you engage with. So you're supporting others. It's a really good supportive network. Don't think that LinkedIn is just a place where I can go post content. Hopefully somebody will see and give me £1 million. Other than that, I don't want to engage with somebody because it's all about that trust transfer. So if you're doing well in business, go and help others on LinkedIn. Just spend 5 minutes every morning just scrolling your feed, raising the relevancy score with good people around you. Okay, that's the kind of the 4-stage strategy. Optimize your profile, so say all the right things, headline, about section, etc. Find ideal clients, use the search box, curate the perfect audience, create great content or content that people want to read, so the 70-30 kind of split, and then do plenty of outbound engagement. Raise the relevancy score and engage with others to bring them into your world, but also to bring yourself into their world. Okay. Now, why do we do this? Because ultimately, we want to become ungoogleable. The idea is that when we become 1 in a billion on LinkedIn, when we are creating content that our ideal clients want to read, when we are curating the perfect audience, when we are littering our profile with keywords, etc., the whole point is that we stand out above everybody else. There are 1.1 billion people on LinkedIn, and less than 5% of them are creating content consistently. And as far as LinkedIn are concerned, consistently means once a week. So just by posting once a week on your LinkedIn profile, you fall into the top 5% of content creators out of that 1.1 billion people on LinkedIn, which is an absolutely ridiculous figure. And remember, if you're not posting, somebody else is. Your competitors are, the people around you are. So when somebody says, it's the whole trust transfer thing, when somebody says, oh, do you know an accountant? Do you know a marketer? Do you know somebody who does copywriting? You don't want them to go to Google, because by then it's too late. Because let's be honest, none of us are on page 1 of Google, right? Where's the best place to hide a dead body? Page 2 of Google, because nobody goes there. You can have that joke, because quite frankly, it's rubbish. But anyway, make yourself ungoogleable. That's the idea. We talk to each other, we curate the perfect audience, we get people to transfer that trust from others to us and vice versa, etc. We stand out on LinkedIn. So ultimately, optimize your profile, literate with keywords, curate the perfect audience, but don't forget your existing audience. Create great content that finds the pain and provides the solution. Create content that is personable and resonates with people. Raise the relevancy score with the people that you want to talk to, and become ungoogleable by being consistent. Consistency is the key. One other thing I just want to quickly share with you is the social selling index. This is part of Sales Navigator, so it's part of the kind of the paid stuff on LinkedIn, but for some reason it's for years and years it's been open to everybody, so anybody can use this. So if you log into LinkedIn, head over to this kind of URL, linkedin.com/sales/SSI. You get a number which essentially tells you how well you're doing on LinkedIn. So as you can see, I'm in the top. I'm one of one in my team, which is great. I'm obviously the top member of my team because I'm a sole trader in my industry. So in the marketing and social media industry, I'm in the top 1%. And in my network, the people that I'm connected to, I'm in the top 2%. A decent score is anything around 68 plus, basically. And it's based upon four different criteria. So go check out your SSI score, see where you're falling down on stuff, and basically just increase that. As you can see, people in my industry have a low average. I'm at 73. Of course, I spend all day, every day on LinkedIn. So that's the thing. It's rare that you'll get anything over about 85 there or thereabouts kind of thing. I've never seen anyone with more than 85 of a social selling index score. If anybody here has, then yeah, I'd love to see it. So just a quick thanks to people in my presentation, obviously Terry Wogan, Bill and Ted, Gordon Ramsay, the Kardashians and Daniel Craig. It's all copyrighted information and images, so please don't share images of them on social media. You're more than welcome to share images of me, obviously. I've got a LinkedIn membership coming up soon. It's called The Squeeze. And that's me. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
Well, let me just stop sharing that.